So in 1971, that's as far back as it went, the first email was ever sent. And that wasn't done through the internet, it was sent through ARPANET. And then you'll be surprised to notice that 1978, the first spam email was ever sent. And it was a digital advertisement for digital equipment. And then in 1980, the Internet Protocol version 4 was invented. So there was 4 trillion unique IP addresses that was assigned, and of course we've reached the end of that now, and therefore IP version 4 has now been initiated. Then in 1983, the first registry for domains was founded. And a registry is basically like the yellow books of domains. So if you've got a website, then that domain gets registered at a registry. And the first official domain was in 1985, and that was symbolics.com. And what's also interesting is 1985 is my birth year, and I own the domain 1985.co.za. Then fast forward to 1989, that's the year my wife was born, www and HTML was invented. So this is still the very same coding language that we build websites with today, and we use this on a weekly basis. Then in 1991, the first website ever was built by Sir Tim Berners-Lee. And then in 1995, the first item was sold on eBay. And what's really funny is that it was a laser pointer and it didn't even work. Then in 1998, Google was founded. And it's this guy who founded, Larry Page, he's just got such an apt surname, you know. Well, how about that, to have a surname like Page if you own Google? So, before 2005, everything on the web was classified as Web 1.0. And then from 2005 onwards, it was classified as Web 2.0, because this was called the social web, where there was a lot more social activity going on and social media was founded. And the first ever video was uploaded to YouTube in 2005. And then, moving on to 2010, Web 3.0 got classified, and that is when blockchain technology started development. And now, Bitcoin, of course, all of you know Bitcoin by now, but back in 2010, when it was just starting, this guy, Hannes, he spent, there was the first commercial transaction that happened on the internet, and he spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pizzas. So translated to today, that'll be $336 million for those 2 pizzas. Also in the same year, Finland made the internet a legal right. So if you're a citizen of Finland, like you will have internet. That's pretty cool. I think we should learn from them. And then in 2016, mobile web browsing overtakes desktop. And of course, that's no common knowledge for you, all of you with your smartphones. People view websites more on mobile than on desktop, and that's why we designed for mobile first. And then finally, in 2018, it was the birth of the GDPR, so the General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, so that's a brief history of where it all began. So what I want to do now is there's obviously a lot that's going on, a lot of trendy things, but I've picked 10 that I want to communicate with you today. 5 design trends and 5 development trends. And I hope you find it interesting. And I want to quote Tim Berners-Lee, who found the internet. And he said, "The goal of the web is to serve humanity. We build it now so that those who come to it later will be able to create things that we cannot create ourselves, or ourselves imagine." And I think our team really enjoy seeing this, because what we are creating on a weekly basis is something that I think he would have been proud of. So the first trend in design on the web today is that there are fewer images in the hero section. So just for those of you that don't know, a hero section is basically the first section that you see on a landing page if you land on a website. And the last couple of years, because images were so powerful and an image speaks 1,000 words, a lot of images was used to make it an immersive experience. But these days, a lot more graphics are used to highlight content, color, typography, and things like that. So I'm going to show you two examples. This is the first one. You see there's no image there, but there's just design, color, and nice fonts. And if you go through it, it really lets the content speak for itself. And another example is this one. I really like this. I mean, there's so little to read. It's very easy for scanners to take the information in. And look what happens when you scroll down. Pretty neat, eh? Second design trend is motion UI. So UI is an acronym for user interface. And back in the day, websites were very static, like you could barely browse. But now, if a website is not interactive, reacting to your mouse when you hover over something or when you scroll, if there isn't movement, then your website isn't a real pleasure to observe. So that's something that's a trend at the moment, and I'll show you one example of what I mean with that. So this is a site that Google made, and look at the little animations that's happening there. If you hover in different places, and if you click into it, like everywhere you click, there's interaction. Yeah, so it's a real user experience. Another example is this one we made for circular energy. So there's interaction on the map here. When you hover over it and when you click on it, it brings up a Google map. Cool. The next one is unique buttons. So buttons is meant to draw an action from a user. You want people to click to dig deeper into your site or to make a sale. So buttons is no longer just a static thing that's there, or just a piece of text with a blue underline underneath it. It's very dynamic, and designers need to pay attention to the shape, the color, the position of it, and even the animation. So I'll show you two examples of trendy buttons. So look at this one. When you point your mouse there, it does a little flip trick. And this one, this is like an interaction. When you type your email, it tells you to sling the button, and then off goes your email. Pretty cool, eh? Then the fourth design trend is something called glass morphism. This is very interesting. It's a combination between transparency, blur, and movement. So it gives like a 3D effect, and we basically recreated it here on the right. So if you hover over there, like you can see this card looks like a piece of glass, but this is just code that makes it look like that. And the images behind it is a little bit blurry without being messy. And then the final design trend is one-page websites. So since websites are no longer just loading on one single screen when you load it, when scroll was introduced, one-page websites became really trendy, and it's still a very, very popular trend because it's an uninterrupted flow of information, and it's especially popular for small businesses that don't have that much information to share. So they can share the entire website on just a single page, and you can still add a navigation pane at the top, and if you click, say for instance, on the About section, then it scrolls down to that section. And there's various sections that you can have, and I'll show you one example of that. This is one we built for FBC Structural Engineering. So you can see there's just a little introduction over here. Then there's a little bit about them, their team, what they offer, and you can still do things like pop-ups even within this one-pager, and have something like a full-on portfolio that is embedded here from another place, and then contact details. So it's really simple and really nice for small businesses. Okay, then moving on to 5 development trends. First one is Serverless Architecture. And this is pretty amazing. Developers can now code applications without worrying about the underlying infrastructure. So they compose an application code as a series of separate functions, which then triggers a cloud provider. And this is basically like a supercomputer that can allocate RAM or CPU usage to a specific user on that there's a client. So it makes it really simple for developers, and it makes it secure and makes the websites really fast. Websites or applications. Then the second development trend is AI chatbots. So it is now possible to have automated real-time client assistance. And this is a learning machine. This machine can answer frequently asked questions and even take orders. And there's research that was done that says that the chatbot market will reach 110 billion by next year. So there's a lot of money invested in this, and I'll show you one example of that. So this is Seattle ballooning. So over here is your chat box, and if you click over here, it already asked me a question, and then I clicked on something, and then if you click on something again, it takes you to the next thing. It takes you through the whole experience of what to do next. All right, the third development trend is low-code and no-code application builders. So this is really powerful platforms, and what makes it amazing is the fact that there's a lot of the hard yards that's already been done. So you can build apps virtually knowing no code at all because there's pre-built code blocks, so there's less effort in it, and they use the visual modeling technique. So you can customize an app to suit your brand. And some examples for that is booking apps for making appointments, tracker apps for staff leave, nutrition, tasks, and then CRM apps for managing sales and client information. So there's really, the sky is the limit with these. There's virtually nothing that's not possible with app builders, and it's no longer just the big agencies that can develop apps. Then API integrations. This is something that's really cool. It's possible to connect various applications with each other and automate your workflows. So from a daily work chore to a detailed workflow, your apps can work in orchestrated unison. So three simple examples is WhatsApp. WhatsApp can be integrated with your website so that there's a little WhatsApp icon there, and if somebody clicks on that, there's a chat box and you can interact with your customers, and that really drives sales and personal integration. That's the alternative to a chat box. And I think if you're more about customer relationships and interpersonal actions, then this is the one to go for. This is one of our best sellers actually, to integrate WhatsApp to websites, and it's really simple and cheap to do that. Second one is integrating e-commerce with an accounting system. So when an order gets placed on your e-commerce system, it pulls through to your accounting system, an invoice gets generated, stock levels goes down, and that whole process is automated. And then a final example is connecting social media or forms to a sheet. So if somebody makes a comment on a post on your social media or writes you a message on Facebook Messenger, then you can pull through to a spreadsheet and you can keep a record of all of those interactions. Or any kind of form that you've created on your website or on the web can pull through to a sheet, so that's better for data management. And this is just 3 examples of literally like thousands of use cases where you can pretty much link anything with anything else. Then last one is virtual business cards. This is a really easy one to do, and it's so useful, even like an event like today. Most of you spend like $500 a year to print your business cards, and when you hand it to somebody, it gets thrown away anyway, or somebody just types your number manually and then throws the business card away, because who keeps a business card? So a virtual business card is basically like a mini website where your contact details is on a link, a unique link, and you can WhatsApp that link to someone, and then from that link they can download your contact details onto their phone. It also comes with a QR code, So your business card can be replaced with a QR code on your phone that you keep on your photos. Somebody can just scan it. That link comes up with your details, and they can download it. So I'll show you one example of that. So this is my virtual business card. Just gives my details over here, contact details, and if you're on your phone, you can just say download vCard, and all of these details will be stored to your contacts. Super cheap. It's like 290 Rand a year to host something like this, and it's really elegant. Okay, so that's it from my side.